All right, let's talk about something I think a lot of us have felt, but maybe can't quite put a finger on. That feeling of being totally, completely exhausted when you haven't really done anything to deserve it. Yeah, we're going to get into what that's all about.
And I mean really tired. Not just, oh, I need a coffee tired. We're talking about that deep down exhaustion that just doesn't seem to add up. In fact, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Sometimes it's even worse on those quiet days. The days you stayed home, you didn't run a marathon, you didn't have some huge stressful day at work, and yet you feel like you could sleep for a week.
So, if any of that is ringing a bell, even just a little bit,
Then stick with me. This one's for you.
So let's break this feeling down a bit. See if it sounds familiar. How about waking up and just feeling already behind, like your battery's at 10% before you've even gotten out of bed? And then the smallest things, like answering an email or figuring out what to eat, they just feel so heavy. And maybe the most frustrating part of it all is asking yourself, why am I so tired? And coming up with absolutely nothing.
Right? So what is happening here? If it's not physical, if you're getting, 8 hours of sleep, then what is this thing? What's this invisible anchor that's just pulling all your energy down?
Okay, and here's where we tend to get really hard on ourselves. That little voice in your head starts up, right? You're just being lazy. You're weak. Or maybe even, something's wrong with me. I'm broken. But I want you to look at the other side of this. The reality is actually so much more compassionate. This isn't about some flaw in your character. It's about capacity. You're not lazy, you're just carrying way too much. You're not weak, you're dealing with a workload that no one can even see.
And that brings us to the actual name for this whole thing: mental overload. That's what it is. It's this deep state of exhaustion that has nothing to do with lifting heavy things and everything to do with the nonstop energy drain from a mind that literally never powers down.
Okay, so how? How does just thinking make us so tired? Let's get into the mechanics of all this invisible work that's happening behind the scenes. Well, think of it like your brain is running 3 really demanding programs all at once, 24/7. First, just thinking. And that's not passive. It's constant planning, solving problems, replaying conversations. It's active. Then there's the big one, worrying. This is your brain's internal security system, always scanning for potential threats and running a million what-if simulations. It's exhausting. And then there's comparing. Our brains are constantly checking where we stand, what others are doing, if we're measuring up. Each one of these is like a full-time job for your mind.
And all that work, it takes a ton of energy. Get this, your brain is tiny, right? It's only about 2% of your body weight, but it hogs 20%, 1/5 of your body's total energy for the day. That is an insanely high energy bill for such a small organ.
And this is the key to understanding that paradox we talked about earlier. Why you're tired on days you do nothing. Because your brain isn't doing nothing. Even when you're just chilling on the sofa, your brain is burning fuel, managing everything, and running all those background loops we just mentioned.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together. The most important thing I want you to hear today, the real takeaway from all of this, is this right here.
No, you are not broken. Seriously, let that sink in for a second. Feeling this way isn't a sign that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. It's actually a sign that you have been doing something incredibly hard.
It's like you've been walking around with a backpack full of racks that nobody else can see. It's not a failure on your part, it's just a really heavy load. It's the sheer weight of all the stuff you're carrying around in your head, all day, every day.
And look, if this whole explainer has been hitting close to home, I just want you to know you are so not alone in this. So many of us are feeling this way. And just putting a name to it, just recognizing that invisible backpack is a huge first step. So I'll just leave you with this one little question to think about. Just for yourself, what are you carrying today? What's in that invisible backpack for you right now? You don't have to solve it all at once, but maybe just taking a peek inside, that's where things can start to change.